So tonight we'll be considering the topic God's man. God's man. On the anchor scripture as given to us is the book of John, John chapter 1, verse 6, and then by extension, for context sake, verse 7 as well. So it reads, it says, there was a man sent from God whose name was John. The same came for a witness, to bear witness of the light, that all men through him might believe. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. The same came for a witness, to bear witness of the light, that all men through him might believe. From this scripture now, we can boldly say and ascertain that there are three qualities that qualifies a man to be called a God man. There are three basic qualities that qualifies a man to be called God's man. The first thing is an origin. It says there was a man sent from God. A God's man has an origin. The second thing is an identity. A God's man comes with an identity. Are you getting it? And the third thing is an assignment. A God's man is not without an assignment. So these three things qualifies a man to be called a God man. And briefly we'll be taking each of them and expatiating on them as the Lord will have us. So the first thing is origin. There was a man sent from God. See, that leads us to the book of John, First John. Yeah, the epistle of John, chapter 4, verse 4. It says that you are of God, little children, and greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. Now that word of denotes origin. You are of God, meaning you originate from God. God is your roots. Are you getting it? For example, now we say Oshimowe of Ondo, shows that Oshimowe is of Ondo. Donald Trump of America, Buhari of Nigeria. So it shows where the person springs forth from. So the God's man origin is of God. That means the man is not originating from time. In fact, the man is not originating from the family, as it were. The man is of God. So even if the family did not exist, the man will still exist. Even if the family never came to existence, the man will still exist. Are you there? So it is the origin of the God man that is speaking. And this thing, the power is known in the consciousness. The power of this thing is seen in the consciousness. That the God man has to be conscious of his origin. He has to be conscious of where he is from. That he is from God. He is not an accident, as it were. He is not an accident, as it were. He is not just an happening or an occurrence. It's not a mistake. He is divinely planned. He is divinely orchestrated. God planned him. God was speaking in the book of Jeremiah. He said, before I formed you in the womb, I knew thee, and I have ordained you. So he didn't come by mistake. Before he was formed, God knew him, and God has ordained him already. So the man is of God. That's the first thing to know. That the God's man is a man of God. That's what it means when we say this man is a man of God. A man of God primarily, basically, does not mean a pastor, does not mean a minister. It means a man that is of. This is the man takes his direction from God. The man originates from God. That is the meaning of a man of God. And by extension, the meaning of a God man. A God man has one origin, and that origin is God. If you trace a God man, you trace him to his roots. The root of a God man is God. If you trace him, you figure him out. What you will find at his end is God. The raw material of a God man is God. That's the raw material. That is what he's made from. That is where he functions from. Is of God. So even though you might see him on earth, might be on earth now, might see him, might be your classmate, might be your workmate, it's not from time. It's of God. It's of God. Just the same way you can meet the ambassador of Nigeria to America. You can meet the man in America. Now, just because you met the ambassador in America doesn't mean he's from America. He's of Nigeria. Only that is in America at that point. And the Bible says we are ambassador for Christ. That means we might be in this world, but we are not of this world. That was what Jesus was speaking to his disciples. He says, you are in the world, but you are not of the world. Are you there? And meanwhile, this origin has a part to play in the things we can do. The things you will do is largely dependent on your origin. Yes, Jesus was speaking to the Pharisees. He says, "You are of your father the devil, and the works of your father you will do." That means a man does the work of his origin. For example, now, where I stay now, you can be in school, when someone sees the way you talk, the way you behave, says, this boy is from Ondo. You just know that this one is from this way. Are you getting it? When we tend to see, when we see someone that talks about business, that plays importance on money, and values business well, we tend to relate the person to the Eastern Nigerian, this is the Igbos. Say they like money too much because of their origin. The origin determines the works a man will do. So the same way for a God man, his works, the works he will do on earth, is limited by the origin he comes from. So the man is of God, and the man that is a God man has to bear this consciousness that he is what is of God. That's the first thing. There was a man sent from God. This man was not sent from the Bible school. He was not sent from the synagogue. He was sent from God. So that's the first thing, the origin. And the second thing, like I mentioned, is the identity. Identity. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. When God sends men, he sends men with an identity. God does not send men nameless. God sends men with a name. When he called Saul, he gave him a name Paul. When he called Peter, he gave him a Cephas, he gave him the name Peter. Even John, James, he gave them a name. Even Jacob gave them a name. Abraham gave him a name. Sarah gave him a name. When God calls men, he names them. There is a system of naming in heaven. There is a system. There is a system of nomenclature in heaven. The same way on earth we name, God names as well. So God gives men a name, and a name is a name is an encapsulation of what a man embodies. Yes, a name is an encapsulation of what a man embodies. It shows what a man carries. It shows what a man can give, what he can offer. Yes, that's what a name is. A name is the reality of an individual. So when they call you Oluwatimileyin, it means that one of the things that should be evident in your life is the presence of God. It should be seen in your life evidently. It should be seen evidently. When you call a person, let's say, probably Oluwapelumi, it's still the same thing, showing the presence of God with a person. So a name is an encapsulation. It's an embodiment of a reality. So when they ask you what is your name, they are not asking you of they're asking you of your reality. What do you represent? That was what they came to John in same book of 1 John, same book of John chapter 1 rather, verse 26 towards that line. They came to him, says, what is your name? Yes, say, who are you rather? Who are you? And what do you say of yourself? This question will always come to us once and again. Come to us in terms of life reality, in terms of situations and problems. Life will always come to ask you what you are. Who do you say of yourself? What do you say of yourself? Who are you? That is what a God's man must know. A God's man knows his identity. He knows what he is. He knows who he is. He knows the things that makes for his advantage. A God's man knows his identity. He knows that he's a masterpiece. A God's man is not an ignorance of who he is. Because after knowing your origin, you must know what your origin offers you. Because for every man, your origin offers you an advantage. And you must know the advantage in terms of your identity. Yes. So a God's man knows that he's not a failure. A God's man knows that it's not weak. A God's man knows that there is strength for him. A God's man knows that he is redeemed. A God's man knows that he is sanctified. A God's man knows that he is anointed. A God's man knows that he is a vessel unto honor. Are you there? So this is the second thing that makes for a God's man: identity. A man that is in doubt of who he is or what he is, such a man cannot go far. A man that is in doubt of his identity cannot make much progress. Yes, a man that is in doubt of his identity cannot go far. A man that is in doubt of what it really represents cannot do much. Because if you don't understand perfectly what you represent. There is no way you can deploy that strength. There is no way. There is no way. Because your identity will lead to your mission. You see, the first thing is your origin, like I said. Your origin determines your identity. Are you there? And your identity will now lead to your vision. Now, in the book of John, the same John, the Pharisees came to John, and John called them one name. He gave them one identity. What did he call them? He called them brood of vipers. Are you getting it? Brood of what? Of vipers. So he's indirectly saying that that word brood means the generation of vipers. That's the meaning. Generation of vipers. So he's saying that their father, their ancestor, is a snake. And he has said that you are of the devil, and the works of your father you will do. Now, remember that the devil himself is a serpent. Are you there? So their origin, the serpentine origin they have, was greatly influenced the name they are called. So John called them brood of vipers because he knows their origin. So the same way your origin greatly influences your identity. Your identity will influence your assignment. So these things are interdependent, they are interwoven. They are not separate from each other. So even if I say that there are three things, it does not really mean three things. Like there are three things that are like a stream. So one is dependent on the other. If you don't know your origin, you cannot know your identity. And if you don't know your identity, you cannot know your assignment. Even if you struggle to know it, you can't fulfill it. And what is the usefulness of an assignment known that cannot be fulfilled? So the second thing, like I said, is the identity. A God's man must know that he must know what his name is. And when we see your name, not your physical name, it shows what you represent. It shows what you come to offer. Are you there? So the third thing again now, the third thing is the assignment. The assignment. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. The same came for a witness. Now, before we move to the assignment, there is a phrase that was used there. I would say the same came, or a clause rather, a clause. The same came for a witness. And that means God sent a kind of man. And when God sent the man from eternity, the same man came into time. That means it is possible that the same man does not come into time. Are you getting it? It is possible that God sends a kind of man and a different arrives. It is possible that God sends a kind of man and the man did not even arrive at all. There are three possibilities. The first thing is that God sends a man and the same does not come. God sends a man and a different arrives. Are you getting it? And God sends a man and nothing even arrived. It's a danger. It's a danger. It's a danger. In the day God sends men, it's a danger that a different arrives, because the people will not know. That's the truth. They will think it's the same one that God has sent that arrived. They will not know. They will not know. Only that the witness you will bring will be a lying witness, because it is not the same that came. Are you there? That is why we always peg on God's grace, that over our life the same will come. See, many things can happen along the way and the same will not come. Many things can happen along the way and the same will not come. God can send you to a school, a university, a department, a family, and on getting there, you become another kind of man. You become a strange thing entirely. You become a different thing entirely. God can send a revivalist to a territory, and what is appearing there is a businessman. See, as good as business is, it's not a matter of good or bad. It's a matter of God. It's not a matter of good or bad. It's a matter of ordination. As good as business is, if it is not your ordination, it is a bad thing for you. God can send a businessman to a territory, a kingdom financier to a territory, a kingdom financier to a church. And what is appearing there is a choir master. Hi. As good as being a choir master is, for you, it is not your good. See, there is a particular good for every man. There is a good for every man. There is what is good for you. And for you to remain the same that was sent, you must strictly adhere to what is good for you. Not everything is good for you. As good as things are, not everything is good for your life. Not everything is good for the God man. What is good for the God man is what God prescribes as good for the God man. See, the definition of good for a God man is defined by the God of the man. Are you with me at all? The definition of good for the God man is defined by the God of the man. Good is not defined by what people call good. In fact, good is not defined by the God man. Good is defined by the God of the man. So if a man will look at the thing and say it is good, it will be because God has called it good. If God did not call it good, it is not good for you. Are you there? When the Bible says it is not good for a man to be alone, that was the case of Adam. If God looks at a God man now in this our time and says, okay, it is good for you to be alone, that becomes your good. That was also happened in the case of Paul. For Paul, God looked at Paul and said, it is good for this man, this God man, Paul, to be alone. Are you there? So it is God that defines the good, and you must strictly adhere to the good of God, unless a difference will arrive. So if you want the same to come over your life, you must pay attention to the good that God prescribes. You must pay attention to the good that He gives you. The good that He gives you might not be the good that you want. The good that He gives you might not be the good that people call good, but it is the good for your life. It is the good for your donation, because before He formed you, He knew you. Are you there? And because He knew you, He knew the good for you. Are you there at all? He was the one that sent you. And your own labor is that God has sent already. It is now in your own jurisdiction to ensure that the same comes. A prophecy has gone ahead already. The Bible was speaking in the book of Matthew concerning Jesus. The Bible says, and He found where it was written that the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, for He has anointed me to preach and do the rest of the things. Now, the prophecy was said in the mouth of Isaiah, in the book of Isaiah. Isaiah gave the prophecy ahead of time. The prophecy has gone ahead. Are you getting it? It was Jesus that now ran. He ran to meet up with the prophecy. The Bible now said He found where it was written concerning Him. In the case of Jesus, the same came. Are you there? So over your life, a prophecy has gone ahead, and your own labor is to ensure that the same will come, unless God might send a God man, and what is appearing is a man of the people. What God sent is a God's man, and what is appearing is a man, is a football fan. As good as these things are, it is not what God defines as good. So a God's man must be conscious of the good that God defines as good, unless the same will not come. I would say the same came for what? For a witness. So that's the assignment. The assignment is to witness. See, when God sends men, what God is sending is not a message. It is not a man. God is sending a witness. The man is useless without the witness. The messenger is useless without the message. In olden times, in ancient times, when a king wants to send a message to another king, he writes the letter. He stamps it with his ring. They call it a secret of authority. He stamps it. Once he stamps it, he seals it. Once he seals it, no man can open it except the man it is sent to. And he sends it with a messenger. He gives the letter to a messenger, and the messenger writes on the king's horse. The messenger does not write on his own horse. He writes on the king's horse to deliver the message. Now, in the process of delivering the message is more important than the messenger. The messenger can change. The message remains the same. If peradventure that messenger falls sick, the message will be given to another messenger to carry it. By all means, the message must be delivered, because it is the message of the king. The same way for us, God has sent a message for our life. That is why we are God's man. The reason why you are God's man is because you are carrying a witness. Without a witness, you are not a God's man. What validates your Godmanship or Godmanhood is because you are bearing a witness. You are testifying to a truth in God. So without a witness, you are nothing. Without a witness, you are empty. Without a witness, you are useless. Without a witness, you are not needful. What we celebrate is the witness the man is bringing, not necessarily the man. The man is nothing without the witness. And that is the assignment. So your assignment defines you. You don't define your assignment. Your assignment defines you. The assignment of a God's man defines the God's man. Are you there? You don't choose your assignment by yourself. God gives you assignment. You can't say, I like to be a preacher. I want to preach. I like preaching. No, it doesn't happen that way. God calls you to it. It is a calling. It's an ordination. He ordains you to it. And meanwhile, the assignment is not just about preaching alone. No, you can be a minister of God in academia, the academic world. You can be a minister of God in fashion. You can be a minister in footballs, in sports. It is an assignment. We are all ministers in different aspects. And the one that preaches is not greater than the one that lectures in the university. It's not greater. We are all ministers. We are all oracles. We are all bringing forth our witness. Bible spoke concerning John. It says it was a burning and a shining light. The witness that John brought was the witness of fire. So when he speaks, the people will feel their hearts burning. That's the witness of John. Are you there? So a God's man must be conscious of the witness he is supposed to bring. That's what defines him. That's what defines him. You can't just appear. When you appear in a place, you must appear with the sent mentality that you are sent here. You are sent to bring a witness. So when you are in lecture hall, when you are in the school, you carry yourself with a kind of composure that you are bringing a witness to a dying generation. You are bringing a witness of purity, a witness of love, a witness of excellence. That it is possible to be a believer, not a Christian, not just a normal Christian, a devoted believer and still be topping the class. That's a witness. That it is possible to be a handsome guy. You are physically attractive, you are rich, you are brilliant and still be sexually pure. People believe that you can't be rich except to do Yahoo. So God can send you to a place to bring a witness that you can have legitimate money at a very young age without dabbling into sin. That's a witness. People can believe that you can't have A in this course except you compromise, sleep with a lecturer, or you give lecturer some money as a bribe. But you can go there and with the help of God, you get the A as a witness that this thing is possible. Are you there? David said, by my God, I ran through a troop. That is a witness of strength. He said, by my God, a bowl of steel is broken by my hand. That is a witness. When David appeared before Goliath, he was bringing a witness of God's faithfulness, that God can use little things, the weak things, to confront the mighty. That is the witness David was bringing before Goliath. That is a witness. It is a witness. When he says, out of the mouth of babes and sucklings you have ordained strength, that is a witness that God can use the little things to confound the mighty. So a God's man is sent to bring a witness in form of an assignment. So when you appear in your place of work, it's not just to earn salary alone. You are bringing a witness there, a witness of honesty and sincerity. That they will know that if it is Paul cannot do that thing. He can't do it. Paul would rather go hungry than to manipulate figures. That is a witness. So a God's man has what? An origin. Are you there? The origin determines the what? The identity. So, and the identity now determines the mission, the witness, the testimony is to bring, the assignment is to deliver. A God's man is a messenger, is a man of God, is a messenger. And he must understand that the message is more important than the messenger. The messenger is the container, and the container must be kept pure, unless the message will be touted, the message will be tainted, the message will be impure, will be contaminated. So the messenger is also as important as the message, even though the message is more important because the message is divine. It's divine. So that's it. That's the three things that qualifies a God's man: the origin, the identity, and the assignment. There was a man sent from God, origin, whose name was John. Identity. The same came. The same has to come. If the same does not come, the witness cannot be brought to pass. If God sent you to a school, He sent you there as a glory realm to a university to bring forth glory, excellence, to show for the excellence of God in academics. And you go there, you now start going for cinema, you start doing for the politics in school. As good as all these things are, they are not bad in themselves, but In that case, the same has not come. And if the same does not come, the witness cannot be brought. Yes. For the witness to be brought effectively, the same has to come. And I pray God will help us. Over our life, the same will come. Over our life, the witness of God will be brought forth. Over our life, the prophecy hanging over our destiny will come to pass. Over our life, ordinations will be fulfilled. Yes. That is the agenda of a God man. That is the qualities of a God man. That is what defines a man as a man of God. That is what qualifies a man as a God man. If any of these three is shaken, the man is not qualified to be called a God man. If he does not know his origin, if he does not know his identity, and if he is not bringing his witness, he's not qualified. And people focus more on the witnessing, but the witnessing is not complete except you have the origin and the identity. The witnessing is secondary, is a consequence. See, once you know your origin and you have a consciousness of your identity, automatically you will bring your witness. Automatically, you will bring your witness. You don't struggle to bring your witness. Once you get the first two is primary. Once the first two is settled, your witness is a consequence. It's a consequence. And I see the Lord helping us in the name of Jesus. We will not bring a witness of lying truth. We will not bring a witness of lie. We will not bring a testimony of falsehood. We will bring a testimony of purity, a witness of power, a witness of God's love, a testament of God's kindness, God's compassion, God's excellence, in the name of Jesus. Thank you very much.